All right, let's talk about the kind of projects that can literally make or break a company. We are diving headfirst into the super high stakes world of enterprise resource planning, or ERP. Think of these as the central nervous system for a whole business. They're massive, they're complex, and when you get them right, they're incredible. But when you get them wrong, oof, they become these multi-million-dollar ghosts haunting the corporate graveyard. So here's the million-dollar question, right? The one that keeps CIOs staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Why do so many of these gigantic, expensive projects just fail? You see it in the reports all the time. Projects that just burn through cash, make users miserable, and in the end don't deliver on their promises. So what's really going on here?
Okay, so let's be super clear about what we mean by failure. This isn't just a server crashing. It's a broken promise on a massive scale. It's a system that completely misses the business goals it was supposed to hit. It's when the budget and timelines spiral out of control. Or, and this one is maybe the most painful, it's when you build a technically perfect system that the people it's for just won't use.
But here's the thing, and this is so important, these disasters are not random bolts of lightning from a clear blue sky. No way. They actually follow a script, a predictable pattern. It's almost like a playbook for failure. And the good news is, once you understand that playbook, you can flip it around and engineer for success. It all comes down to 3 categories that we're about to unpack. First up, Category 1, strategic failures. You can think of these as the cracks in the foundation. These are the problems that can doom a project long before anyone writes a single line of code. It all comes down to the planning, the leadership, and the big picture vision, or lack thereof. So what's just wild here is how basic these mistakes are. I mean, can you imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint? That's what it's like launching a project when you don't even know what done or successful looks like. Or trying to do it without a powerful executive sponsor who has your back. And then you've got the classic project killer, scope creep. You know, where just one more small feature slowly bloats the project until it collapses under its own weight. See? These aren't tech problems. They're failures in leadership and governance. And what's great about this is that for every poison, there really is an antidote. Take scope creep. It feels unstoppable, but it's really just the result of uncontrolled changes. So what's the fix? A change control board. Now that might sound like boring bureaucracy, but it's really a disciplined defense against chaos. No executive sponsor? Well, that's exactly what a steering committee's for, to formalize that commitment. These are all practical fixes for problems you can see coming a mile away. Okay, let's move on. Our second category is where that shiny digital dream crashes into messy reality. We're talking about technical failures. This is where the core machinery of the project itself, the data, the testing, the code, can just grind to a halt. You know the saying, garbage in, garbage out. Well, in an ERP project, that's not just a cute phrase. It is an ironclad law. You can have the most expensive, state-of-the-art system in the world, but it is completely useless if you feed it bad data. So the question is, where is all this digital garbage even coming from?
This slide basically tells the story of a digital archaeology project. Your company's data isn't sitting in some pristine vaults. Oh no, it's scattered everywhere, in old legacy systems, in thousands of rogue spreadsheets that all have their own weird logic, in CRMs with half-finished records. And you can see the impact isn't some far-off problem. It's immediate, it's painful. Transactions fail, orders get stuck in the system, and you start sending customers bills for the wrong thing. The whole system can break on day one. But look, data is only half of the technical fight. This quote right here absolutely nails the other half. Testing is how you prove the system can actually work in the real world. If you skip that, you're not just launching software with a few bugs, you're launching a full-blown crisis of confidence. And let me tell you, once you lose that trust from your users, it is incredibly hard to get it back. Now, it's not all doom and gloom on the tech front. The tools we have for this digital cleanup are getting way, way better. AI, for example, can act like a super-powered filter. It can automate a lot of that tedious data cleaning work, spot weird anomalies a human might miss, and merge duplicate records with amazing speed. It's really a modern solution for a very old problem. And that brings us to our final, and you could argue, the most critical category of all. This is the one that sinks more projects than any buggy code or bad plan ever could. Human failures. This is all about the people's side of change. So here's the bottom line. You could have a perfect strategy and flawless technology, and it would all mean absolutely nothing if your team doesn't get on board. The most beautifully designed software is just expensive shelfware if people quietly go back to their old familiar spreadsheets because nobody explained the why or the how of the new system. And wow, the difference between success and failure here is just night and day. On one hand, you can treat change management like a checkbox to take off. Send a few mass emails, make a generic training video, and call it a day. That's a one-way ticket to failure. The other path, you treat it like the engine of the whole project. You give people training that's actually relevant to their jobs, you find influential change champions to build momentum, and you actually measure whether people are using the new tools. Okay, so we've spent enough time diagnosing the disease. It's time to talk about the cure. We've just walked through the map of how projects fail. So now, let's open up the playbook for success and figure out how to turn all that risk into a massive reward. This is it. This is your action plan. And notice, this is not just a random to-do list. It's a system. Each one of these steps is a direct counterattack to the failure categories we just talked about. See? Steps 1 and 2, they neutralize your strategic risks. 3 and 4, that's your defense against technical failure. And step 5 puts the human element right where it belongs, at the absolute center of the strategy. This is the blueprint. Let's boil this all down even further. If you take everything we've talked about and distill it to its absolute essence, you get these 5 pillars. And I want to be clear, these aren't just suggestions. They are the non-negotiable foundations of a successful project. If even one of these is wobbly, the entire structure is at risk of coming down. And that really brings us to the single most important takeaway of this whole explainer. There is no silver bullet. You can't just buy a piece of software or hire a superstar project manager and expect success. Success is forged through a disciplined, integrated approach that gives equal respect to your strategy, your technology, and, most importantly, to the people who have to bring it to life every single day. So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. As you look at the big projects coming up for you, are you actively building on these pillars? Are you really engineering your project for success? Or are you kind of leaving it to chance, just hoping you don't become another one of those cautionary tales? You've got the playbook now. The choice is yours.